started AutismFITT Club because my daughter at age 22 months was diagnosed with autism, and at that point I had no idea even what the doctor even meant by autism, since it was such a long time ago, now that she's almost 12. I started AutismFITT because I just saw a need where there was these kids, maybe even low-income kids, that maybe needed to be on scholarship to be able to have the therapy that is available. And I started doing some case studies on kids with exercise and autism because I was in the fitness field for 20 years, and started looking at their exercise routine and these kids who weren't able to do their typical sports. So I started working with them and saw such great improvement that just about now 3 years ago, we started AutismFITT Club, which is occupational, speech, and physical therapy. We have 2 locations right now and always growing. Our first location's in Mission Valley in San Diego, which is only about 5 to 7 minutes away from the beach. And then we also have one in Chula Vista, East Lake area. What makes us so different is I'm coming more from the family side of it. So being a parent, knowing what kind of therapy that is needed for the kids and truly caring about the families is my #1 passion. Being able to help the families come into my office and be able to sometimes break down and not know what their options are out there with the schools, even with therapy, just even around town, and the families and the foundations that are out there to help our families. I think that's what makes us so different.
Meeting Addie was a really big inspiration for me because she's a parent that's started this clinic, and that's just a whole different perspective than most of the other places that I've worked at. It's a lot of times a clinician-owned clinic, and so they don't have that empathy that Addie has. She's been there, she's been through all of this, she wanted to make a change, and so I think that was really what drew me in.
The thing I like most about Addie's is how collegial and collaborative the staff are. Everyone really takes the time out to spend time with each other and share good ideas, so it's just really nice. It's a very relaxed atmosphere in terms of that.
I think the people that work here really care about the kids, and I've seen it.
What makes Addie's the best is our team. I think we have a great support system.
It's just a young group of therapists who are all growing and really striving to be better at what they do.
Taking a look at our center and seeing how great and how much they've done and grown in the little bit of years that we've been here, I realize how good of a team we have built.
The facility is absolutely beautiful. It's a great and unique place that the kids can come, and me and Addie clicked, and then me and the people that work here ended up clicking, and the kids are awesome, and it's a great facility. There are a lot of options, and it's so nice having the reward, that's the gym, for the kids. Not a lot of places have that. I've had, several jobs doing speech at different places, and a lot of times the facility itself is very, I don't want to say inadequate, but I would say lackluster. And so the facility is beautiful, so everything kind of lined up.
The support of the staff, it's a great community feeling here. The staff, like I said, being on site with speech and with PT and OT, it's nice to kind of take advice from different perspectives, and everyone is open to hearing perspectives and sharing ideas. It's great.
The support, the communication that you have working there, and the coworkers. It's awesome being able to work side by side with OT or PT or whatever you need. You really have a lot of support all around.
All of the therapists really work together. We depend on each other for different things. We're there for each other. If I'm seeing the same patient as a speech therapist or a physical therapist, we're able to talk to each other and get to know, hey, so-and-so did this today, is that normal? Has he been acting like that lately? Those kinds of things, we're really open with each other, and I think it's a great space for the kids. They have the opportunity to do so many things, and it's really a client-based area, so they kind of get to choose what path they're going to take that day, and we kind of run with it and make it therapeutic.
I feel like I'm surrounded by really amazing therapists, and we get to collaborate. It's a collaborative model here, and not only is that really fun, but it enhances my learning. I feel like I can spend time with other therapists, PTs, MTs, and speech therapists can all collaborate and bounce ideas off of each other.
I always say in our interviews with the new employees that this may not be your last stop for your job, but we want to give you everything we can while you are here, and we want everything from you. So I really love to help people grow within their lives.
Addie and my coworkers, I think they have been the reason why I've gained so much in this company.
Addie is definitely a great mentor. When I first started here, I felt like I didn't have a lot of the skills that I needed to work in the position that I was in. But over time, she helped me step by step. She was there whenever I had any questions, any advice. Personally and professionally, she was always there for me, and the continuous support from her has always been number one for me.
I feel like I've grown a lot since I've started working with Addie. It's just being challenged with the different caseload that we get.
I've seen people, outside of work getting together, which is great. People, talking about the kids, gathering materials when they don't have to. I think it's just that extra, willingness to, go beyond just what's average for the kids.
Just the team atmosphere we have here is really cool. Being able to be challenged inside and out of work too, even, but then we also get to have fun together.
I chose to work for Addie's because I actually was a contract physical therapy working out in the field by myself for several years, and that got really lonely, and I actually really enjoy working in an environment where I can share my knowledge and my experience with other therapists. So working in a place like Addie's is like top on my list of priorities for being able to collaborate and touch bases with other therapists on a regular basis.
We are a very active center, so if there's something that you're interested in, let's talk about it and let's get it going.
In my past experience, I've done some home health and some clinic and hospital work all with kids, and so I feel like I'm able to kind of bring all of that together. I have a similar interest as Addie and probably most of the other therapists here, that fitness is a very important key to therapy, and so being able to bring a passion of mine, which is exercising, being outside, being active, in with my career is just a wonderful opportunity.
Like, this isn't where you're just gonna have a job and you do your 8 hours and you're off not loving your job. If you don't love your job, we would not want you to be here. So we want you to love your job.
When I actually have parents tell me, oh, my kid's using a lot more words, or they're putting more words together at home, it really just warms my heart.
And what I look for in a company is that I'm not going to be static, that I'm always going to be growing and furthering my education, but also just my experience in general.
I think for me, the most important part of my job is finding the empathy in our children, finding their sparkle. A lot of therapists or just adults just want to implement what we think is best for them, but I think it's important to come down to their level and find out what sparks their imagination, what makes them happy and motivates them. It comes from all senses. We have lots of senses, and our children live through a very sensitive world, so whether that's through audio, through tactile, through play, through silly fun, just finding something that motivates them. I enjoy having them smile because our population's smiles are the most genuine and give back to me the most genuine happiness that sometimes I believe us as adults can lose. So when I'm here, I search for that, not only for their happiness, but to give back to my own happiness.